The most feared drug out there, and, at the same time, the most desired one in the underground scene. Fast effects, dense muscle gains, insane definition, but all of that comes with a price not everyone's willing to pay. Today, we're diving into a controversial, intense topic that's surrounded by myths and hype. If you've heard the name before, but never really understood what this substance can do, this video is for you. Grab your pre-workout and stick around, because what you're about to hear might totally change the way you see steroid use. Ready? Take a deep breath and let's get into it. Trenbolone is considered one of the most powerful anabolic steroids ever developed. It was created by modifying nandrolone, another well-known steroid, but with much milder effects. Tren's chemical structure was altered to drastically boost its binding to androgen receptors, which basically means its impact on the body is way more intense and kicks in faster than most other gear out there. To give you an idea of just how strong it is, tren is about 5 times more anabolic and androgenic than testosterone. In other words, it has an insanely aggressive potential for building muscle and transforming your physique. But that doesn't mean it's simple or safe to use. Quite the opposite, actually. Tren is so powerful that its side effects also tend to hit hard. Originally, it was developed for veterinary use, mainly in cattle, to bulk them up and increase weight before slaughter. The commercial version was known as Finaplex. There was an attempt to adapt it for human use, with drugs like parabolan and hexabolan, but those were discontinued back in the 1990s due to serious health risks. Today, Trenbolone is well known in bodybuilding circles and often used by advanced athletes chasing extreme results. When we talk about tren, it's important to understand it comes in different forms, each with its own properties. The 2 most common versions are Trenbolone acetate and Trenbolone enanthate, both administered via intramuscular injection. There's also an oral version called methyltrinolone, metribolone, but it pretty much vanished from the scene because of how insanely toxic it is to the liver, even in super low doses. Trenbolone acetate acts fast, with a half-life of around 2 days. That means you need frequent injections to keep your blood levels stable, but there's a big upside. If you start experiencing nasty side effects, you can stop using it and it'll clear your system pretty quickly. On the other hand, tren enanthate has a slower release, staying active in the body for up to a week, which means any side effects will take longer to fade out. Typical cycles vary depending on the form used. With acetate, recreational users usually go for 50 to 100 milligrams per day or every other day for about 4 to 8 weeks. For enanthate, it's often between 300 to 700 milligrams per week, running for 8 to 12 weeks. Just a heads up, these are reports of real-world use, not medical advice. Self-medicating with stuff like this is extremely risky. Even though the forms are different, the power and risks are pretty much the same. In fact, a lot of athletes prefer acetate exactly because it gives them an emergency exit in case things go south. The reason tren is so popular among bodybuilders is its mind-blowing ability to reshape your body in a short time. It's one of the few compounds used both in bulking for mass and cutting for fat loss and definition. That's because its effects are fast, intense, and super noticeable in either phase, as long as your training and diet are on point. Aesthetically, it delivers rapid muscle gains, a serious boost in strength, and that dry, shredded look thanks to more visible vascularity. Tren also enhances nitrogen retention, which is crucial for muscle growth, and it helps your muscles store more glycogen, making them look fuller and perform better in the gym. Another thing that sets Trenbolone apart is how it boosts IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor, cranking up both its production and the activity of satellite cells, which are crucial for muscle repair and growth. It also has a strong anti-catabolic effect, helping your body hold on to muscle mass even during strict diets. Plus, it partially blocks cortisol, the stress hormone that promotes muscle breakdown, giving users yet another edge in maintaining size. On top of that, tren improves how your body uses nutrients. So even if you stick to the same diet, you might see bigger gains simply because your body becomes more efficient at using what it gets. But while tren delivers jaw-dropping aesthetic results, it also comes at a steep price, both physically and mentally. The side effects can hit just as hard as the benefits. sometimes even harder. Many first-time users end up ditching it within days, overwhelmed by the intensity of the side effects. Even seasoned athletes admit that tren requires serious physical and emotional control to handle it long-term. Hormone-wise, things start going downhill pretty fast. Tren almost immediately shuts down your HPT axis, which regulates your natural testosterone production. Even a few doses are enough to drastically lower your testosterone levels. This can lead to a sharp drop in libido and even testicular shrinkage, especially if you're running tren without a base of testosterone. Another big hormonal risk is gynecomastia, aka gyno, triggered by tren's progestin activity. And no, this doesn't come from estrogen conversion like many think, but from its stimulation of breast tissue. Tren can also raise prolactin levels, which makes the situation worse and often requires specific anti-prolactin meds. Skin-related issues are super common too, especially if you're genetically prone. Your skin can get noticeably oilier with breakouts of severe acne, usually on the back, shoulders, and face. Hair loss is also a big one, and it can speed up balding in guys with a family history. On the cardiovascular side, tren isn't exactly your heart's best friend. It tends to raise blood pressure even without water retention, mostly because it thickens your blood. Plus, it messes with your cholesterol profile, lowering HDL, the good kind, and raising LDL, the bad kind, which increases your chances of heart disease and circulation problems. But maybe the scariest side effects are the neurological and psychological ones. Tren is infamous for causing hardcore insomnia, even in people who never had trouble sleeping before. It messes with neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, leading to extreme irritability, anxiety attacks, wild mood swings, and even depressive episodes. This happens so often that it's earned the nickname tren rage, those intense emotional meltdowns that can wreck relationships, jobs, and social life. And just when you think that's all, there's more. The infamous post-injection cough, caused by traces of oil hitting the bloodstream, night sweats, strange body odor, and potential liver and kidney damage, especially if stacked with other compounds. All this leads to one clear message from experts and experienced lifters. Trenbolone is not for most people. It takes discipline, emotional maturity, and deep knowledge to even consider using it. It's mostly used at the tail end of contest prep, where athletes are chasing ultra-specific aesthetic goals and willing to risk it all. Even then, many pros eventually ditch tren because they just can't handle the mental toll. And here's the other major issue. We're not just talking about health risks. Trenbolone isn't even legal for human use in most of the world. Unlike other anabolic steroids like testosterone or nandrolone, which have approved medical uses, tren has zero clinical approval for humans. That means using it, selling it, or even having it can be considered a crime, depending on where you live. In Brazil, for example, the National Health Agency, Anvisa, doesn't authorize any kind of registration or sale of Trenbolone for humans. The same goes for many other countries, even where it's still used in livestock, to bulk up cattle before slaughter. The drug is applied using animal-specific methods like subcutaneous pellets. These versions were never designed for humans and were never tested clinically for that purpose. So nowadays, the most common way to get tren is through underground labs, those black market manufacturers that produce and sell it illegally. And that brings another layer of danger. Not only are you dealing with a drug that has brutal side effects, but now you're injecting something that could be contaminated, underdosed, overdosed, or completely fake. That turns an already risky choice into something even more unpredictable and potentially life-threatening. Even so, it's not hard to find someone selling tren online. The most common format is a 10 milliliters vial, usually dosed at 100 milligrams per milliliter. Given how harsh Trenbolone side effects can be, it's crucial to understand that the damage it causes isn't always temporary. A lot of it can become chronic or even irreversible. That's why anyone who's used tren, even for a short time, needs to stay alert to what their body might be trying to say. The damage hits multiple systems: hormonal, cardiovascular, liver, kidneys, and your mental health. And the longer you stay on it, the higher your chances of developing serious issues that go way beyond aesthetics. The first step to spotting potential damage is getting a full medical checkup. Hormone panels are key to see how your HBD axis is doing. Tests should include total and free testosterone, LH, FSH, prolactin, and estradiol. Your lipid profile will also show if tren's messing with your cholesterol, something that happens a lot, especially when HDL drops and LDL spikes. Liver and kidney function tests like AST, ALT, creatinine, and BUN help detect whether those organs are under stress from prolonged use. It's also smart to get a cardiac workup, things like an ECG and echocardiogram, since tren can seriously affect blood pressure, blood thickness, and your risk of arrhythmias or even heart attacks. Working with doctors like endocrinologists, urologists, and cardiologists is essential to interpret results properly and get the right treatment plan. Sadly, many people only look for help when symptoms are already out of control, which is why prevention and regular checkups are so important. In more severe cases, post-cycle therapy, PCT, might be needed to try and restart natural testosterone production and rebalance hormones. Specific meds can also help control prolactin levels and keep things like gyno and sexual dysfunction from getting worse. Supporting your liver and kidneys through supplements, diet, and medical care can help minimize the damage already done. And we can't forget about mental health support, whether therapy or psychiatry, which is often overlooked but absolutely necessary, especially with insomnia, anxiety, mood swings, or depression in the picture. If you've made it this far and realize tren might bring more harm than good, you're not alone. And yes, there are safer, effective alternatives for improving your physique without wrecking your health. The results might not be as fast as with steroids, but they're sustainable, long-term, and, most importantly, they don't put your body at risk. Building a strong, defined physique can and should be done with intelligence, consistency, and responsibility. Among the most well-studied and trusted supplements, whey protein stands out. It's derived from milk and packed with fast-digesting proteins that support muscle recovery, strength gains, and overall growth. When combined with solid nutrition and the right training, whey helps you build muscle without any of the nasty side effects of steroids like Trenbolone. Another proven supplement is creatine, a substance your body makes naturally, and that's found in foods like red meat and fish. It helps boost strength, explosiveness, and muscle volume, especially during high-intensity training. It's also particularly beneficial for vegetarians, since their diet lacks natural sources of creatine. This supplement has been thoroughly researched and proven safe by medical organizations around the world. But here's the thing. No supplement works miracles if you don't have a solid training plan and a consistent diet. Real gains come from sticking to a routine that includes both compound and isolation movements, plus a diet rich in protein, quality carbs, and essential micronutrients. These are the real foundations of a healthy, functional physique. After everything we've covered here, it's clear that Trenbolone isn't just another steroid. It's extremely powerful, but it also comes with risks that should never be taken lightly. Its effects on the body go far beyond aesthetics. They affect your hormones, your heart, your mind. That's why using tren requires more than discipline. It demands high-level knowledge, regular medical supervision, and emotional maturity that most people, especially beginners, just don't have. Even experienced athletes report struggling with tren side effects, and many eventually stop using it because of how brutally it impacts their quality of life. And if you're not a competitive athlete, then honestly, the risks make even less sense. What's the point of having a strong body on the outside if your health is falling apart inside? No physical result is worth sleepless nights, anxiety attacks, or irreversible damage to your heart and kidneys. If your goal is to build an aesthetic, healthy, and functional physique, there are ways safer and more sustainable paths to get there. With proper training, a well-balanced diet, and smart supplementation, you can transform your body and your confidence without putting your health on the line. The progress might be slower, but it'll be real, lasting, and most importantly, safe. Of course, the final choice is always yours. But if you've made it this far, maybe deep down you already know the answer. Do you want fast results no matter the cost? Or a strong, healthy body you can keep for years to come? If this video helped you better understand the risks and reality behind Trenbolone use, go ahead and drop a like. It shows you care about serious, well-explained content in the fitness world. And if you want to take your support to the next level, consider becoming a member of the channel. Now tell me, had you heard about all these side effects before? Do you know someone who's used Tren or ever thought about trying it? Leave a comment. Your experience might help someone else who's right on the fence about this decision. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a new video about bodybuilding, supplements, training tips, and much more. If you're into content that blends solid info with real responsibility, you're going to love the next video popping up on your screen. Click it and keep hanging with us, because here, knowledge always comes before results. See you there.